Live from the Dr. Jerry Henderson Radio Complex, it's time for Card Guys. And now, here's your host, Anthony Schulte.
Good morning or good afternoon, whenever you may be listening to this program. Thank you, Michael, for the intro as always, and welcome to Card Guys, Detroit Sports Talk, Season 2, Episode 25. Coming up today, the Red Wings won their most important game in almost a decade, but were still eliminated from playoff contention. Who are the best rookies to invest in when it comes to sports cards? And the NBA postseason is here. We discuss the play-in tournament and preview the playoffs coming up on Saturday. I'm Anthony Schulte, and joining me as always, my man, Ryan Donnelly.
Folks, it's kind of sentimental because we only have 3 more episodes left.
That's true. Only 3 more.
That's really sad, y'all.
Including this one.
Yeah, including this
So
one.
next week is our last week. Our grand finale show will be Wednesday.
A week
with some
from
special
today.
announcements. Yes, a week from today. Right next to me, my man, Mr. Michael Rosenkranz.
It's kind of tough to work through the emotions last night. Still kind of working through them this morning, but we will get to our thoughts on the Red Wings and more later.
And hopefully I can pronounce words with R in it, because clearly I can't this morning. And across the way, Isaac Haffenden.
It's really unfortunate that David Perron's clutch goal to tie it with 3 seconds left is going to be forgotten in hockey history now. Sad.
It's true. It's true. All right, so we're going to hop right in to our 3 stars. We'll start with Isaac. You have not done a 3 stars with us yet, so
No, that's right, I haven't.
So what do you got with your 3 stars?
All right, my 3 stars. Obviously, we'll start with a Wings player. And my Wings player, we're going to go with Lucas Raymond. The other night, 2 goals, overtime winner, tied it also. You just got to give it to Lucas Raymond. 70 points at age 22. This kid's going to be a star for the Wings for a long time. My second star, I'm going to give it to the Tigers pitching staff. Casey Mize and Reese Olson, back-to-back games of great starts. Unfortunately, they did not get the wins. Reese Olson pitched at, maybe 6 innings, 1-run ball, something like that. I don't remember off the top of my head. But, yeah, we lost 1-0, so unfortunately he got the loss. And Casey Mize pitched great in his return to Comerica Park, but we did not give him run support. And my third star, I'm going to give it to the entire Pistons team of the 2023-24 season for lots of laughs and pain.
Laughs and tomfoolery at Little Caesars Arena.
Good way to put it.
All right, Ryan, we'll go with you.
Okay, so my third star is Gio Urshela. Yesterday's performance was very impressive, getting the knock once again to get us the lead. He loves to come up in clutch moments, and he's having the best batting average out of everybody. So I love what I saw from Gio. My second star, I do have to give it to David Perron. Like Isaac mentioned at the beginning of the show, his goal will be forgotten in NHL history due to the fact that 3 minutes later, the Flyers goalie got
like
pulled.
The Phillies.
Huh?
They played like the Phillies were playing hockey.
That is true. They played like the May Philadelphia Phillies.
The last 2 games, all we needed was Philadelphia to show up or Boston to show up. You think that would be too much to ask?
Yeah. No.
Yep.
But we'll talk about it later in the show. Elaborate that more. And then my first star, Zion Williamson, who had in his playoff debut, incredible, folks. 40 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists in 36 minutes. So those are my 3 stars.
It's play-in debut. It's technically not the playoffs yet, which a lot of people, it's postseason, but NBA doesn't like to specify play-in as playoffs because you're playing in to get to the playoffs. NBA is weird about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's still technically the postseason.
It is.
But
His playoff debut will be hopefully Saturday. If
Yeah.
they can win tomorrow night, I think, is the next play-in game for them, because as the 7th seed, losing to the 8th seed, they get another chance to make the playoffs and be the 8th seed this time.
They got to go through the Kings.
Yeah, and that's going to be a really good game in my opinion.
I really think so.
All right, Michael.
Yeah, so for my 3 stars, my third star, I got to give it to Zach McKinstry. He went 1 for 3 yesterday, but he did produce 2 runs in the Tigers' 4-2 win over the Rangers. And Ryan, I didn't want to believe you when you and I were at Tennyson watching the baseball game, but you said you were superstitious about the Tigers winning, and it pretty much came true, although we wanted a shootout. My second star's got to go to David Perron. I mean, for tying the goal up with 3 seconds left. I mean, what more what more could you ask for when you get a beneficial icing call with 7 seconds to go? You win a crucial draw, you find David Perron high slot, and he just rips one past Primo to tie the game 4-4. But Isaac, you hit the nail right on the head. That goal is going to be gone. Just forgotten.
Yeah.
Just forgotten with
It's
the fans.
sad, man.
It really is really sad. And my first star, Zion Williamson. I mean, how could you get any better with your play-in debut with 40 points? What was it, 11 rebounds, 5 assists?
Yeah.
He did get injured, though.
Yes, he did.
He's undergoing testing today and imaging today.
Yeah.
Of course.
So Zion did get injured. So that's your first star?
Yes, that's my first star, and that wraps up the 3 stars.
So my 3 stars, third star, Klay Thompson unders. Klay Thompson shot 0 for 10 last night, 0 for 5 from 3, I'm quite positive. Disaster class, as the kids would call it. Klay Thompson unders, if you're into, the dark arts we like to call them. The Klay Thompson unders, because he scored 0 points. My second star, Lucas Raymond, single-handedly saving the Red Wings season the past month. So just a cumulative star here for Lucas Raymond. I would have gone Perron, but Raymond with that winner on Monday night and just his play the past really month of the Red Wings season, keeping us in games, winning us games when we need it. So Lucas Raymond, my second one. And number 1, Keegan Murray. I think Keegan Murray had the best performance last night, given his team won. All respect to Zion Waddles, as I like to call him, but your team lost, and it's not his fault. It's Brandon Ingram's fault and CJ McCollum's fault for playing like absolute hot garbage. But Keegan Murray had a great game, and his team won. The Kings won. I'm pulling up his exact stats because I don't want to just try to memorize them. Here we go. He shot 50%, 8 of 13 from 3, 32 points, 9 rebounds, and a couple steals in 39 minutes. He had 14 of those 32 points in the first quarter, helping the Kings get out to an early lead. So Keegan Murray, heck of a performance, one of the better players from that 2022 draft class. So it'll be fun to see if the Kings can beat the Pelicans. We'll talk more NBA play-in and playoffs coming up a little bit later in the show. So let's get into our first topic, those Red Wings. Not many words can describe the feeling right now in Hockeytown. The Wings got their job done. I've never seen Patrick Kane so upset at a shootout victory goal.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Just the lack of emotion. It's like, yay, like,
Yep.
yeah, we're at 41 wins. Woohoo!
Hooray.
Yep,
For nothing.
They knew right before the shootout.
And what's funny, or not even funny, what's annoying is we had more wins.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I think, the one flawed thing about the point system and about how the playoff picture and the standings are calculated in the NHL. A lot of people are saying point system, but do it the NBA way. If you have a better record, you should make the playoffs. The Red Wings had more wins than the Capitals, and the Capitals are in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I never understood that. I never understood that, and it rang its ugly head last night. Showed its ugly head last night with the Capitals still making the playoffs, even though not winning as many games. Which, again, say that out loud, it sounds stupid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you didn't win as many games as me, so you shouldn't be in the playoffs. That's like saying, you know, because the Lakers and the play-in tournament kind of does that too, but it's you're winning games to get in. It's a whole different thing. That's like saying, you know, the Nets, for example. The Nets had 32 wins, but they're outside of the play-in tournament. They were the first team out of the play-in tournament. Let's just say, oh, well, the Nets played the Bulls better, or the Nets, you know, got to overtime more often in a game. So the Nets, you leapfrog the Bulls. But we won more games, says the Bulls. Who cares? That's not how we do it around here. That makes no sense. when you put it into perspective in other sports, especially basketball, where you have the same amount of games and kind of the same outlook of standings when it comes to winning and losing games, it sounds dumb. And last night, it proved dumb, in my opinion.
I agree with everything you said. Another thing that I thought is dumb, and I think this makes me really upset. There's two things that make me really upset, and I thought was dumb. One, Philly pulling their goalie 3 minutes left in a tie game that could cost the Red Wings their season, and they knew that. The NHL did not want the Wings to win, and they did not want to make the playoffs.
We didn't get a lot of favorable calls either last night.
No, the first goal of the game was called no goal.
Well, that's in the Flyers game.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was saying the Red Wings weren't getting a lot of favorable calls.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that is also
They
true.
didn't have a power play last night.
That is true. There
wow,
were only like two
Two
power
penalties,
plays.
yeah.
That was it. It was very disciplined hockey. I'll give them that. But that Philly game, man, I want to highlight that first before I get into the Red Wings game. Lots of stupidity, like the no call for the goal, the first goal. It was obviously it went over the red line. Why the heck did it not? Why did it get a call to no goal? I think that's ridiculous.
Something with like the ref's whistle. Or
Yeah,
something
they like
weird
blew
like
the
that.
game dead.
Yeah,
before it
I
crossed
don't really
the
get
line.
that, but
And then obviously pulling your goalie 3 minutes left in the third period when the Red Wings season's on the line and you want to play spoiler to the Capitals.
well, to be fair, the Flyers needed 2 points, a regulation win to make the playoffs. So
Yep.
Yeah.
they needed to pull their goalie because they can't just willingly send it to overtime, which
That's true.
makes
yeah.
sense on their part. But I do think what
It was
like,
a little premature, though.
yeah, that's what I'm
regardless.
saying.
No
it was a little
doubt.
too premature to pull the goalie. Like maybe 2 minutes left is fair. Get on the offense, get some shots up, then pull the goalie. Something like
Exactly. If you were to take it down like maybe another minute to about 2 minutes and then pull your goalie, that's fine. But with 3, that's way too much time.
Yeah.
It's a ridiculously amount of
It's a
time.
lot of time in hockey.
Philly they struggled to find their shot yesterday, and trying to pull that shot to get the extra man on the ice was kind of stupid, I think, and because you let Washington, more specifically, you let TJ Oshie just get an empty netter, and now the Capitals are in the playoffs. I saw this tweet yesterday from Barstool Sports. The playoffs are more fun when the Red Wings are in it, and the NHL should know that. The Red Wings, yes, and their original 6, they have more wins. But apparently the Capitals have Alex Ovechkin and TJ Oshie.
Well, they didn't just. It's not like the NHL front office was like, all right, we're just going to throw the Capitals in. I think it's something to do with overtime wins or overtime losses.
Has something to do with head-to-head.
Yeah.
I think the Capitals and Wings had the same amount of points.
Yeah, they do.
But the Capitals took the season series. I think that was what it was. The
Yes.
Capitals took the season
You
series.
are correct.
So
I
like
think it's
Capitals-
also something with they only had as many points as us because of the overtime wins or overtime losses or something.
something like that.
Something
It's
with over. I
complicated.
know thought something was with the tiebreaker for the Capitals and the Wings.
Yeah, it is, but it shouldn't have even been a tiebreaker because if the Wings have more wins, it shouldn't go down to a tiebreaker. That's like the Nets and the Bulls, like I brought up my example. The Nets and the Bulls in the NBA, the Nets have 30 wins, the Bulls have 39 wins, but because the Nets won 3 out of the 4 against the Bulls, the Nets are thrown in.
Yeah. And
It's not the exact same scenario, but in context, the Red Wings have more wins than the Capitals, and the Capitals made the playoffs.
And the second quota, and I told Anthony this, and I told you this yesterday that I'd bring this up because it really ticked me off. I hate the people that say, and it's not a specific person, it's multiple people that I see in person,
It's been the
on
fans all-
Twitter. It's been the fans all year.
Or since March, whenever
Sin-
we got
yeah.
a certain thing he's going to mention.
It's the fans that strictly blame Chris Ilitch in the priority patch. Obviously, if you're joking around, you're off the hook because you think it's a joke. Obviously, if you're like, oh, it's about the priority patches. But if you're like, this season's all about the priority patch. No. You haven't watched hockey, and you've been a Twitter warrior this whole season. There's multiple reasons. I can name 20 reasons why the Red Wings aren't in the playoffs right now. I'm not going to name all 20, but I'll name a few. Bad defensive change, bad coaching, bad leadership, bad locker room shit, a 4-point blown goal loss to the Sharks, a swept by the Coyotes, overtime loss to the Ducks, lots of no calls, just a lot of stuff.
The 7-game losing streak.
7-game
Larkin
losing
being
streak.
out
March.
for that entire
Larkin
losing
getting
streak.
injured during our two biggest losing streaks.
Yeah, March. Larkin was hurt like 20% of the year.
Because Larkin's the coach.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
In the locker room, and not X's and O's and stuff, but just morally and in the locker room, and when it comes to the guys, just being with the guys, he's the coach. He's
doubt.
doing what Lalonde, whatever. He's not going to be here next year, hopefully. Lalonde. He's doing what that guy's supposed to be doing, Larkin.
I mean Derek Lalonde. I saw
Or
his-
Lalonde.
or what?
I think it's
let's,
been
let's
told
call him.
both.
It's
Let's call him
Lalonde.
Gru.
Yeah.
Because he looks like Gru from
Because
Despicable
I've been
Me.
told he said it's Lalonde and Lalonde, and people in the media have said Lalonde, and they've also said Lalonde.
You
I
know,
don't know.
okay. So Derek whatever the heck, Gru. Basically, I read this article the other day that Michael mentioned to me after the show on Monday. And during the intermissions, when we're down or when we're up, no matter what, you know what Gru does? Does he talk to the players?
He twiddles his thumbs in his
He
office.
goes back to his office, plays with a little game that you see at the dentist office where you move the balls around. No, you don't.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Oh, those.
Yeah,
yeah.
He goes back
Office
to his
game.
office and he plays. He plays match the shape in the thing, match the star, match the circle, and instead he lets Larkin lead the locker room, which he's the real coach. It's like LeBron on the Lakers.
That's not a confirmed report, by the way.
No, it's not, but that's what we think.
I'm pretty sure it's been proven that, or confirmed that, after a loss or in the locker room, the team is not addressed. And I remember Michael telling me that. I don't know where you got that, Michael, but the fact that you can't address your team. You know what? At least Monty Williams addresses his team.
Mm-hmm.
At least Monty, after a 30-point loss, has the cojones to go into the locker room and address his team. Because you're the head coach. You are the creme de la creme in the locker room. You are the guy that people look up to, and look for throughout the entire season, through the ups and through the downs. That's what makes good coaches good and bad coaches bad. That's why I still have faith in Monty Williams, because at least Monty Williams can command a locker room. And at least you'd think in a 14-win season, the head coach of that team would not be respected. The players would not like him. Oh, the players love Monty. Now, obviously, there has been a little bit of a disconnect, naturally. But still, the players love and respect Monty Williams from what I've seen in interviews and all that. The same thing cannot be said about Lalonde or Lalonde. Gru. The team is, there's an obvious disconnect. There's an obvious problem coaching-wise. Will Yzerman do anything about it?
No.
Probably not. He probably likes Lalonde. Gru. That's my thing. I don't. I think the coaching is a big reason as to why, we just need to win one more game throughout the season. Sharks, Ducks, Coyotes. One of the 7 games we lost in a row.
You could also say Rangers. You could
Penguins,
also say
Capitals,
Panthers.
Look at the Capitals game last week.
Let's see what else.
There was the Sabres game where we got trounced on 7-3 during that 7-game losing streak.
There was the Predators game where we got shut out and we lost 1-0.
These are all games that if you just would have won that one of them, just one of them. Heck, even gotten to overtime in one on the losing streak. If we would have at least gotten to overtime once on the losing streak, we'd be in the playoffs.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's so depressing. I think that's just the perfect word, though it's a word not a lot of people like to use. Just depressing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is.
Because all in all, at the end of the season, when we needed to win out, we won out, and when we needed teams like the Bruins and the Flyers to clutch up for us, they didn't. So
Yeah, and
I mean,
that's what happens when your destiny is not in your own hands.
Yep.
And when you have to leave it up to other teams to help you, because most of the time, they're not looking to help you. In fact, especially a team like the Red Wings, where let's keep the Red Wings out.
The Habs definitely wanted to keep us out. I mean, they played us tough the last couple games.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
But,
the last 3 games, the Red Wings won 5-4.
Really, the last 3?
We beat the Maple Leafs
Yeah,
5-4, and then we beat the Canadiens
all
twice.
in overtime and
5-4,
shootouts, too.
all in overtimes and all in shootouts.
Wow. Well, I don't think Monday's game was a shootout. I think didn't we win both of those overtime games
Yeah.
within the first minute? No.
We went to overtime
Monday.
4 straight games.
On Monday,
Maple
the
Leafs,
goal
it was
was
within a minute.
Yeah, on Monday it was 4:35 the time of goal, so about 25 seconds left in overtime on Monday.
Okay.
So, and then we were about 1 minute into overtime or something like that when it was Larkin's overtime.
Yeah,
winner
with the
in
Maple
Toronto.
Leafs goal, it was very, very quick.
Yeah. Any last thoughts on this Red Wings team?
Yeah, I got a few thoughts on the Red Wings team. Now, this was a little bit later last night after I was talking to a Red Wings fan on Instagram. Shout out Autumn. There was a lot of stuff that I went into detail about that I'm going to try and circle back to for this show. First and foremost, I feel for the veterans. Larkin, Kane, DeBrincat, Perron. I mean, all those guys.
Especially Kane.
Especially Patrick Kane.
Especially Dylan Larkin.
Yeah.
Yes. I watched his post-game comments from last night's game this morning on my way to the show here. Dylan Larkin was on the verge of tears.
Yeah.
It was sad.
It was so sad. It's just, man, I just felt so empty with that. But I feel bad for the whole team and especially those veterans because in my mind, we blew it. That 7-game losing streak killed us. Us messing around earlier in the season killed us.
If we would have just beat the Penguins or the Capitals last week,
Yes.
killed us.
Exactly. So we blew it for the veterans. We blew it for Kane. And you had, with the way you were playing this season, in my mind, you had one goal in mind. It was to make a playoff push. Now, granted, again, some Red Wings fans, not most of you, but some of you, are spoiled.
Agreed.
Because we took it for granted.
100,000%.
25 straight years of playoff hockey from 1990 to 2016. I get it. At the same time, while I do want to be optimistic and talk about how good of a season it was, I don't think I can because a lot of people are going to disagree with that because you had that goal of the playoff push in mind.
Well, I think because I was saying this to somebody yesterday, and I think the season from a preseason expectations perspective, massive success.
Agreed.
You made
No
a
doubt.
playoff push. You got Patrick Kane to potentially be here for the rest of his career if he decides to stay with us. You got, you were in a playoff push. You were playing meaningful hockey in April. I think from where we were before the losing streak, if you're looking at it from that perspective, major disappointment. Because we were in that third spot. We had that third playoff, not even a wild card. We were out of the wild card.
Yeah.
We were in the third playoff spot.
Yeah.
Once we got there, it seemed like playoffs were locked up. And I think to say the season in general is a disappointment, no. But from where we got to this season to then miss the playoffs in the postseason, that's a disappointment.
Well said.
I think that's the disappointment in the season is we got to the highest of highs and then we got killed down to the lowest of the lows. That's the disappointment.
Well said, Anthony.
Yes,
Very well said.
I agree.
I wholeheartedly agree with you there. And here's another thing. If there's anything that Derek Lalonde proved last night, he is purely an assistant coach.
He is. He's
He
not meant to lead a
cannot
locker room.
Lead a locker room. Our defense was atrocious in the late games, and it just makes me so frustrated.
His lines during that losing streak, his defensive lines were extremely questionable.
Very.
Extremely questionable.
Very. And here's a I'll try and wrap this up here very quickly. To be honest with you, I want to see a headline that Derek Lalonde is fired. I don't want him here next season. I really don't. You need a coach that knows how to lead a locker room. Heck, you might as well get Dan Campbell over to coach the Red Wings.
Just have Dan Campbell coach every single sport in Detroit.
Well, if Dan Campbell
Exactly.
coaches the Red Wings, we're going to be up 2-0, and he's going to pull the goalie because he wants more offense.
In the first period.
He's going to normalize
Isaac.
pulling the goalie for 2 periods to end the game.
Isaac,
I saw the Flyers do it last year in like 3 minutes left, man, and a tie game, man. So it's the first period. I had to pull.
And then it's actually going to
Man.
work, and people are going to be like, oh my God, what's happening?
Well, you guys know Derek Lalonde reached out to Dan Campbell saying the bat symbol's up in case he wants to talk to the team, and Dan Campbell didn't.
Wait,
I think
actually?
I do remember
Yeah.
Yes, that
Yes.
is
reading
that's
about
true.
that. That is
He
true.
asked Dan Campbell to talk to his
He
locker room,
didn't
Yes.
come.
Yep, and he didn't come.
He didn't come.
and he didn't come.
No.
No.
Nope.
Wow.
Nope.
I mean, he's
So,
probably got
that's
other
sad.
things to do
It's-
besides.
it's
I
very
blame
sad.
this season on Dan Campbell.
The sad thing about it is he has to ask the football coach of the city to talk to his locker room.
Exactly.
You got to go to Ford Field to get some leadership at LCA at the pizza
and
event?
at the same time, it's Dan Campbell. Who wouldn't want to talk to your locker room?
Monty
Well,
Williams.
because you're a coach. You're supposed to talk
I know,
to
but
you're supposed
still.
to be your own locker room leader. You don't see Monty Williams waddling over to Ford Field. Hey, Dan, can you talk to my basketball players for me? You don't see AJ Hinch going across the street. Hey, Dan, we lost 3 in a row. Can you come talk to my team for me? Like,
Lalonde said that when we were on like our 6-game win streak before the 7-game losing streak.
Maybe that's the reason why they cursed us, Red Wings fans. It's not the priority patch. It's Dan Campbell. Fired. I'm just kidding. He's a wonderful coach.
the only superstition in Detroit I'm really superstitious about is my whales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up with the
yes.
whales, and then the day they're covering up the whales, you're telling me it wasn't a doubleheader day, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was the.
And on doubleheader day, you cover up the whales, and it was disaster.
Hey, well, then we won. Then we won last night.
I just, and of
Oh, wait.
course, it's an ad
We
that
won 2
would
out of
fit
3.
perfectly above the whales.
Yep.
We could keep the whales, and you still have part of the mural showing. And it's Cure Auto Insurance, home of the worst commercials with the worst scripts in local television history.
And sponsors the worst basketball team.
Akil Badu, what you doing in my car?
Amon-Ra, is this the best catch of your career? No. What's the best catch? Cure Auto Insurance.
It's not
want to
about
be there.
It's not about the dog. It's not about the dog in the fight. It's about the fight in the dog.
Nobody wants to do those commercials.
Is
No.
this the best win in your career, Jared Goff? No. What is? Cure Auto Insurance.
Cure Auto Insurance should be your number 1 pick. It's Kate Cunningham.
With him and Rick Mahorn.
Yes.
Oh, but seriously, I think if you're superstitious, like I know a majority of Detroit, not just Red Wings fans, but just Detroit sports fans, like we were just joking around.
Yeah.
See, that's fine. But if you strictly think, like, if you're serious about this stuff,
If you're serious,
not a real
about
fan. I'm sorry.
A little patch with stitching onto a jersey. If you think that causes, and I get sports athletes and professional players are superstitious.
Yes.
I get that. The last thing the Red Wings players are thinking is that because they have a garbage company on their jersey, they can't win games.
Exactly.
I
It
had
was
3
100% an outside factor. That was not the priority patch.
I had 3 people come up to me yesterday, and they were all like, "This season's on the priority patch," and I'm like, "No, it's not. You haven't watched from February on.
The Tigers put a Meyer logo on their jerseys. You didn't hear anything from
They're doing
Tigers
fine.
fans.
They're 10
If
and
it was
7.
any other company besides a garbage logo, it would be a different story from the fans.
I don't know because the fans weren't happy about a sponsor patch anyways going on.
No.
I remember when it got announced they were doing a sponsor patch and everybody lost their marbles and was like,
It's like putting a sticker on. It's like
Putting
on
a bumper sticker on a Bentley.
Ferrari.
I agree with that. I don't think there should have been a sponsor patch. I think the Red Wings jerseys don't need a sponsor patch. But what can you do?
I
right?
think
it's
It's a
corporate at
business.
some point. Yeah.
A couple more short things. Very short, very brief. First thing, this team reminds me so much of the 2022 Lions.
Yep, that's
where
what
we
I've
went
been
on a crappy losing streak and then we won out, but the better team had to make the playoffs, which was the Seattle Seahawks, who was my least favorite NFL team. I hate every single person that is a fan of the Seattle Seahawks, except for
That's a
Kieran
bold
Kamish,
statement.
good friend of the show. Well, good friend of myself, but Kieran Kamish, you're the only Seahawks fan I can tolerate. And then second thing, I forgot my second thing. Wait. Oh, yeah. Monty Williams is a better coach than Derek Lalonde in the locker room.
Heck, I could even say X's and O's because, as much as I don't like some of the things and some of the rotations that Monty Williams had, there's only so much you could do X's and O's wise when you don't have the talent. Now, did he play the right talent? Did he misuse Jaden Ivey? Did he overuse Isaiah Livers? Did he just not have talent on his roster other than Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren to an extent? That's true. And there's not much you could do X's and O's wise with no talent. That's just how it is. That's why I want to see him with talent.
Yeah.
If I had to rank the Detroit coaches from best to worst, Campbell, Hinch, Williams, Lalonde.
That's the perfect list.
There you go. Perfect order.
Anything else on the Red Wings?
I got a couple more things really quickly, but I can try and bring this up. Isaac, do you got something?
I'll say my ranking is Campbell, Hinch, Lalonde, Williams. At least Lalonde wins.
Yeah, but Lalonde has talent.
Yeah.
He
has
Jeff
Dylan Larkin.
Petrie, Justin Hall. This D-core is atrocious.
Well, you're gonna have
Christian
bad
Fisher.
players.
Yeah.
Look at the forward corp though. Like that's what's winning you games.
Yeah, exactly. The forward core is very deep, very good, lots of depth, but this D-core is just weak.
If you give Monty Williams the best offensive team with the worst defense, he's still going to win 30 games.
Yeah.
Because at least you're putting the ball in the bucket, right? And you could win shootouts in basketball, and you can outshoot another team. Now it's hard. You're not going to win anything substantial, but you're going to win at least 30 games.
Yeah. Couple more things briefly on the Red Wings. We'll try and wrap this up before we go to our next segment. With Patrick Kane being pain-free now, because I watched his post-game comments. He said, coming out of hip resurfacing surgery, it feels good. I'm pain-free. That bothers me because he can easily be gone in the summer.
Yep.
Because teams can offer more money than what the Red Wings did. Because I think we signed him for $2.75 million this year.
Something like that. He's going to try and get one more payday.
Yeah, he's gonna try and get more money. So I'm really terrified that Patrick Kane's going to leave after a year.
Really
I hope not, but I can genuinely see it happening. And not really Red Wings related, but it is. I think John Tortorella is absolutely out of his mind for pulling his goalie 3 minutes early. Now, to Isaac's credit, yes, you needed a win in regulation. You needed the 2 points, but pulling your goalie with 3 minutes to go in the game.
The game was tied.
Is malpractice
Right,
when it's tied.
Malpractice is a perfect
Right
word.
idea, terrible execution. Wait like a minute or a minute and a half.
Exactly.
You never see a hockey team in any scenario pull their goalie with 3 minutes left unless they're down by like 2 or 3.
Exactly.
When it's desperation mode.
Exactly. It's malpractice.
You had plenty of time to get in the offensive zone and shoot some shots, but yeah, you had plenty of time to do that, get some shots up, hope for the best, and if not, pull the goalie when it's like 2 minutes left, minute and a half.
Right.
That's
exactly.
what you do.
Right.
Might as well put on a suit and go out to the bench and start coaching that team, Isaac.
I don't even know hockey that well, man.
Obviously better than the Flyers coach right now.
And one more thing on Derek Lalonde, then I think we'll move on. That look on his face yesterday when the shootout goal was scored as he was shaking hands with his coaches and when he went out on the ice to greet his players, greet the Canadians, that says it all. That really just summed up his coaching tenure here so far with the Red Wings. And again, I personally want him gone next year because I want to see this Red Wings team make the playoffs. And it's just like, we'll just wait till next year. I hate saying that because I'm tired of saying, just wait next year, we'll be back. It's hard to win in the NHL. I understand that. It's hard to win in the NHL. But I'm just so tired of saying, we'll wait till next year because it's just... Yes, the season was awesome. Yes, it was like the 2022 Lions. but it should not have ever ended like this.
Not at all.
And that's where this feeling of, the denial phase comes in with us. As we progress through the show, I feel like our emotions are just, coming out even more, but it's empty, it's grim, it's cloudy in your head right now.
I can compare it. This is the exact feeling when you get dumped.
Yeah.
Because you're kind of sitting there, you're like, there's so many things you could have done to prevent it. You're sitting there like, why? You're just thinking in your head like, why? Why did it have to happen the way it happened? There could have been outside factors that you can't control that could have contributed to it. Flyers. There's multiple. It's a very similar feeling. It really is a very similar feeling. However, enough of the sad wings.
Hey, let's be honest. This is the best season we've had in.
Oh yeah, nearly a decade.
Nearly a decade.
Nearly a decade. It's the best season we've had.
But obviously, it was unfortunate of what happened. It's nothing we can control because we're fans. We have no say.
Nope.
We just talk about it on our show.
It's true, and what happens, and you just got to move on from it. So that's what we're going to do.
Like we're going to move on from the segment.
Quickly, before we get on to our next segment, let's give a quick congratulations on retirement for Blake Griffin.
2018-19, Blake Griffin was his best year. Nobody can change my mind.
Blake Griffin before the Pistons, on the Pistons, after the Pistons, one of my favorite players of all time. I remember when we traded for him, and I looked at my phone, and I was like, oh?
I thought he was going to take us to...
I thought it was a fake tweet. I was like,
I thought he was going
wait,
to take us to great places, man.
who's faking a tweet on my notifications? I click it. It's Woj. Pistons are traded for Blake Griffin. Huh? Let's go! I'm so happy.
I remember the day he got
Exciting
traded.
times.
I was playing Madden.
I was at my grandma's house for dinner, and my dad, before we were about to eat, he was like, "Did you see the rumors that Blake Griffin might get traded to the Pistons?" And I was like, "No." And then I remember after we were about to leave, he goes, "Blake Griffin just got traded to the Pistons." I was like, "What?
Yeah.
No way!" And then I remember I took the bus back. It was like 7th grade. I took the bus with my friend John, and I remember him hating the trade because he was like, "He's old, he's hurt, he's past his prime." I'm like, but he's Blake
Nothing
Griffin.
like a 7th grade basketball pundit.
And then all of a sudden, the next year, 8th seed in the playoffs, and averaging 24 and
On
was an
one leg.
all-star
On
a
one
leg.
leg.
And he could dunk and he could shoot. That's the
Yeah.
Blake Griffin that I remember. I know and love.
It was when I saw his tweet yesterday, I was like, dang it. Because I want to see him, maybe one more year try to get a ring. But a heck of a career, Hall of Fame career for Blake Griffin.
Should have retired on the
No doubt.
Pistons.
And I wish things wouldn't have fallen out the way they fell out here with Blake. But nonetheless, best wishes. We know he's, if you're watching Blake.
Also, while
He's
we're
probably
at
not
congratulations, and we forgot to bring this up last show, thank you for 50 subscribers.
Yes.
Yes!
I think, what are we at right now? Let's see what we're at
54,
right
I
now.
think.
I saw
They were at
55
54.
this morning.
We are at 55.
Really?
Double nickels,
Oh,
baby.
nice.
Good work.
Thank you for 55. Also,
Double nickels.
Anthony
No.
won Rising Stars for the WMHW annual awards. He won. Congratulations, Anthony.
I consider it a team victory. Like I said on my many Facebook posts with my mom, because she quote tweeted my Facebook post, or she quoted my Facebook post. It shouldn't say my name on the piece of paper. It should say Card Guys, because the show doesn't happen without all y'all. So
Thank
I
you.
appreciate the shout out, Ryan, but it's all of us, because trust me, if it was just me here, we would not be doing good. Nobody's gonna listen to this one dweeb sitting in a chair talking about sports. It's everybody's personalities here. It's not.
All right.
Trust me, it's not just mine.
Let's
but-
move on.
Yes, let's.
Had to
move
get
on.
it out of the way. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for 55 subscribers. All right, our next topic consists of sports cards, because we love sports cards here. So, who are the best rookies to invest in from this past sports calendar year? Once we get to the NBA playoffs, it's kind of like a switch in the sports calendar year. Once we get to the NHL, NBA playoffs, NFL just wrapped up, NBA just wrapped up, NHL is going to wrap up tonight, and MLB is just starting, but MLB is kind of like that oddball team that plays when everybody else isn't playing. So who are some rookies, in you guys' opinion? NHL, NBA, NFL, MLB, we can count MLB for last season and this season. who are some rookies that are the best to invest in and the best to collect as of right now?
I think there's 3. Victor Wembanyama, incredible rookie of the year, probably will be the unanimous rookie of the year in the NBA.
Some extremely sought after items.
No
Yes,
doubt.
eBay
no
Marketplace.
No doubt.
Number 2, and I don't know if he has product because I was talking with our friend Doug, a friend of the show. We want you back on the show, Doug. We love you.
Yes.
Jackson Holiday and
He
Paul
does have
Skeens.
yes.
Those
I don't know if
three
Paul
guys.
Skeens does, but I know Jackson Holiday does.
But Jackson, I don't know if he has any product out yet. But I think I remember seeing at a card store back where I'm from. They had Jackson Holiday product. It was like Bowman U, but I don't know if there's any like prospect cards out yet, or if there's any rookie cards out like with him in the O's jersey because he just got called up. I'm not sure, but I think those 3.
I got to stay consistent with the Wembanyama one, but this next one I'm going to say, I just kind of want your guys' opinion on it. Arguably one of the most electrifying guys in baseball right now, Ellie De La Cruz. He joined the Reds, I believe, last year in 2023. And, I mean, the dude is just continuing just to shine.
The definition
with
of a
Cincinnati.
lightning bolt.
Literally.
That's what
Every
you can
time I
compare
see
him
some
to.
of his highlights or I just turn on a Reds game, I always look for Ellie De La Cruz and see what he's going to do because that dude is electric. He is going to be a superstar, and he already is a superstar, but he's going to be a major star going forward on the Reds. And I'm just trying to think of another one. I mean, if he gets to that point, do you guys think Colt Keith could potentially see something?
Yeah.
I mean, he's already trying to make a name for himself here in Detroit. It's just our bats that are just atrocious right now. But I would argue that Colt Keith, his rookie card could go for a good amount.
I think of a player, because you got to think with Panini, there's so many players that don't have autographs and are not signed with Panini that, maybe it takes a little bit of a hit or to like their collector's value because, Wembanyama's not signed, Brandon Miller's not signed, Stroud is not signed, Bryce Young is not signed. Somebody that is signed, though, Anthony Richardson. I think his rookie is a great one to pick up if you can find it for cheap. If you can find it in dollar boxes.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
I think Anthony Richardson, and football's always on the more inexpensive end. Anthony Richardson is that guy, and he is going to be a very good quarterback in this league. I think he's a great guy to invest in. Jaime Jaquez from
That's
the
another
Miami
good
Heat.
one.
Jaime
Underrated
Jaquez,
one.
he has
Very
autographs.
underrated.
No, he doesn't. Does Jaime have autographs?
No,
I don't think Jaime does
I
have
don't think
autographs.
so.
I think Thompson twins, too, if you're looking for an autograph in the NBA. Thompson twins are cheap right now, too, especially Asar. So you could get some really good stuff there. I think even Marcus Sasser, stick with the hometown guy. You could get his auto for like $5. It's
Not even.
Yeah.
Probably less.
It's Marcus Sasser's a great pick there. And then just going to the Chell, Connor Bedard. I mean, that's kind of a toss-up, just like Wembanyama is.
Oh, yeah.
But Isaac, what do you got?
I was just gonna say, I'd say my main collection is football and baseball. I mean, obviously baseball. You got Colt Keith, underrated one from the Tigers, playing good defense. The bat will come along eventually. Obviously, some guys from this class like Wyatt Langford, huge card to look out for coming up. Max Clark, buy low on Max Clark. He'll obviously get better. He's young, but Skeens. Who else is there? Dylan Cruz.
Holiday.
Yeah, Holiday, obviously. Definitely a lot in baseball, but I think football has some great ones. Obviously, C.J. Stroud, a good buy low candidate right now. Honestly, I'll say it. Bryce Young.
Yes.
I think he can definitely get a lot better next year, so buy low on his cards.
He's a
I think
great
his
buy low
value
card.
has a very, very good chance to skyrocket. Bijan Robinson, obviously, as a Lions fan, Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta, obviously. You can even go Brian Branch, maybe even Jack Campbell. I think he can continue to develop nicely next year and have some higher value for his cards. But, yeah, who else is there in the NFL? Obviously, Anthony Richardson.
Puka.
Puka.
Puka Nacua.
I haven't seen a
Nakua.
Puka card
Yep.
before.
There's
I know he's
a-
a fifth rounder. So I
If
think
you go to
he's-
Pac-Man's Instagram, he bought a Puka Nakua 17 out of 25. I think it's a blue shimmer, I want to say. I don't know what the blue parallel to 25 in Panini Prism is for NFL, but it's a jersey number, and I've never seen a Puka card until then either. It seems like he's a rare find, Puka Nakua, or we're just, not
and
looking
Will
in the right
Anderson
places.
Jr.
Will Anderson, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Who else?
Yeah.
I mean, you could say Jameer Gibbs
Yeah.
or Sam Laporta if we're thinking hometown. I don't know if they got brought up yet, but
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
two. Jack Campbell stock, I feel like, if you want to invest, I
higher
think
for sure.
I really genuinely think Jack Campbell will have a breakout year next year.
Breakout.
I really think so. He had a very slow year, I think, last year, but I feel like because he'll have the full year. Obviously, he didn't play a lot, but I feel like he'll get more shots this year, and I feel like he'll be a breakout star. Not like best on as our OLB, but I think a solid guy, and I feel like a guy to invest in is Jack Campbell.
I think a guy from 2022-23, so a couple, 2 seasons ago, that could have a Tyrese Maxey type of breakout year next year. Because I was going to say Tyrese Maxey, but he's already elevated. So I mean, you're buying high when it comes to Maxey, but Jalen Williams, J-Dub, on
yeah.
the Thunder.
I see it.
I think he's going to have if he hasn't already had a breakout season this season, he's going to have an incredible jump next season. And I think he's a really good guy that you could buy pretty low right now, and you could see some positivity when it comes to collecting him. So
I feel like one more guy that you forgot to mention that's in the NBA that had a season that nobody's talking about, G.G. Jackson.
yes, GG.
Yeah, he's been phenomenal for the Grizzlies this year.
His
even
name
though
is Gregory, but his nickname is GG for
Gregory
good game.
Gregory Jackson, a solid guy for the Grizzlies, and obviously the Grizzlies stink, but
Yeah.
not
Next year, though. Next year, they're going to be good.
Yeah.
Watch out for the Grizzlies next year, man.
they had an off year because Ja was hurt.
They
and
only got
was
to 20
suspended.
wins because they had Ja for like 5 games.
Yeah, but
And they
watch
won,
out for the
didn't they
Grizzlies.
win 5 in a row with Ja, and then Ja got injured?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
had a little
Yeah.
streak going with John Morant playing.
So imagine Ja, Bane, or Ja, G.G. Jackson, Bane.
Jaren Jackson, Derrick Rose.
Who's their center?
He's retired, isn't he?
No, he's
Derrick
playing
Rose
next
is on
year.
the Grizzlies.
He's
Who's
sitting
their center?
back.
Not Steven Adams.
They got rid of Steven Adams.
Valanciunas?
No, Valanciunas is on the
Valanciunas
Pelicans.
on the Pelicans.
Oh,
Is it Steven Adams?
I don't even know. Maybe.
No, didn't Steven Adams get traded?
No,
This
he
season?
he got hurt.
Honestly,
he tore
I
his
have no
ACL.
idea.
He
I'll
got
be
hurt, and
honest.
then-
Yeah, someone go look it up.
Steven Adams is on the Rockets. He
Oh,
got traded to the
really?
Rockets this season.
wow. I
That's
had no idea.
very random. I did not know that.
Yeah, I knew he got traded. I just forgot to
Why
where.
was I going to say Stromile
Hang on,
Swift?
let me see if I can find him. Pulling up the Grizzlies.
Jerome Miles Swift.
What a name.
Is it Trey Jemison?
What a name.
No, he was. So that roster is going to consist of a lot of nobodies.
Okay.
Xavier Simpson is going to be the
But
starting
I mean, you
point
think
guard
about it.
next
All
year.
their so
Calling
John
it.
Conchar is another great name on the Grizzlies. I mean, the Grizzlies will be good next year. But we're talking NBA. Let's move on to NBA here. Quickly, the playoffs play-in tournament was last night. Last night we had incredible hoops in the first game. Lakers, Pelicans coming down to basically the wire. The Lakers pulling out the win. They will be playing the Denver Nuggets in the first round,
Great
2
series.
versus 7.
That's going to be great.
And the New Orleans Pelicans, with that loss, move on to play the winner of Warriors-Kings. In that Warriors-Kings game, as we mentioned, Keegan Murray went off in a win for the Kings. Klay Thompson, bricklayer, Brick Thompson, Klay Brickson, not doing the Warriors any favors. Warriors get blown out. What could possibly be the last game with the Draymond, Steph, and Klay trio. The dynasty,
Yeah.
folks, is finally over.
And like my dad,
Thank you, Lord.
so my
Part of me is gonna
dad,
miss it.
my dad is a huge Warriors fan. Like probably, I think I see him watch more Warriors games than the Pistons. He can't miss a Warriors game.
How was he feeling after that game last night?
I got to text him about that, which I'll probably do after the show. Hi, Dad. I know you're watching, but I bet he's a little upset. He loves Draymond,
Well,
because
I have a
obviously
really bad feeling someone's going to become a Piston.
my dad is a big he went to Michigan State, big Michigan State fan, can't miss a football or a basketball game, and sorry, go blue.
Go blue.
What happened in the world of Michigan sports? They lost in the
no penalties for the all we got is probation for the cheating scandal.
For the scandal, 3 years probation. There was a fine, and
they didn't strip our natty.
They didn't strip the natty, but
Which
they're
means
that.
the NCAA
Cope.
thinks it's real. We won it.
Cope. Cope.
Cope with Michigan
It's real.
actually winning.
It's real. Take that. No asterisk. Asterisk. The little star. We're not the Houston Astros of 2017. Anyways,
We
my
don't
dad
have
is a
garbage
huge.
cans over here.
My dad is a huge Warriors fan, and I'm gonna text him after the show about how he feels about the dynasty. It's over. I'm just gonna say it's over. It's been over since like 2020, but the Warriors just don't know when to give up, and I think this year is the perfect time to give up because I think the Warriors want to at least build around this team, keep Kuminga, keep Pajemski, keep Trace Jackson Davis, keep Steph. Out of any of the three, keep Steph Curry, keep Moses Moody, trade Andrew Wiggins.
Want a hot take?
Yeah.
Trade Steph Curry. While his value's
No,
high.
I think he's a Warrior for life.
I
Yeah.
think he is, but if you want to rebuild this Warriors team the best way possible, you trade Steph for picks and assets. Look, I don't agree with it. I said hot take for a reason. I don't think they should because I think Steph is a Warrior for life. But if I'm in that front office, I'm not turning down looking at an offer. I'm not gonna hang up the phone when someone says Steph Curry. Because think about it, you get the right deal. You want to maximize on what Steph Curry is right now. He is getting up there in age. He is old. You don't know what could happen next year. Now, shooters always keep their touch. Shooters can always shoot. Mm-hmm. But, I mean...
Except if your name is Klay Thompson.
Clay's kind of fallen off. But anyways, so the Warriors, they lost. They're out. Bye-bye, Warriors. It is now Pelicans-Kings in the next play-in game. The winner of that has the honor of playing the one-seed Thunder. So, the rest of the bracket, the play-in games tonight, we've got Sixers and Heat.
Cinema.
Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris over me? Well, we'll find out again tonight. Another Heat versus Sixers matchup. Bulls, Hawks in the garbage bowl.
I can't wait for the mid-off.
That's going to be
I will be skipping that game.
Sadiq Bey isn't even playing, so I have no rooting
Sorry,
interest.
fell asleep thinking about that game.
Yep. So the Sixers and Heat's going to be the game to watch, obviously, and then Hawks Bulls will probably be another snooze fest. And then, of course, the winner of 7 and 8 Sixers Heat play the Knicks, the 2-seed Knicks, and then the winner of the 9 and 10 game and the loser of the 7 and 8 game, the winner of that cumulative game will play the number 1 seed in the NBA, Boston Celtics. The rest of the bracket looks like on the Western Conference side, Clippers Mavericks, the best series on this entire bracket.
Agreed.
Clippers Mavericks.
That's going to be incredible.
Timberwolves Suns as a 6-3, Nuggets Lakers as a 2-7, Cavaliers Magic, which is the other really good series, as the 4-5, Bucks Pacers as a 3-6. Giannis Antetokounmpo is out for at least the first couple games of that series, and then of course the Knicks and the winner of the 9-10 loser 7-8 series.
Hot take. I've seen lots of reports about the finals being Celtics Nuggets. I don't think the Nuggets are going to make it past the semis.
You know who I see making it to the finals, man?
Who?
Luka.
I see it too,
I
man.
agree.
I really see it.
That Luka Kyrie backcourt is scary.
And you gave Luka big men.
Yeah,
You
gave
gave him a
Gafford,
center.
you gave him
You
PJ Washington.
A really good. Gafford reminds me a lot of 2011 Mavs championship Tyson Chandler.
Good way to
Tyson
Oh, wow.
Chicken Nuggets. Protects the rim, can score down low at an incredibly great rate. He, like I said, protects the rim, really good interior guy, can set big screens. PJ Washington is a big body that can shoot the ball, can roll, and can space the floor for Luka. Luka has actual centers and forwards now. You give him Kyrie, which, Luka's having his really rare off game, Kyrie goes off. Luka's having a good game, guess what? Kyrie's still going to go off. And if Kyrie has an off game, guess what? You got Luka. And I never thought it would work. I never thought two ball-dominant players would work, but
The Mavericks
I'm wrong.
have a big four. It's not a big two. It's not a dynamic duo. It's a big four, I think.
I think P.J. Washington's one of the most underrated players.
All they
Very
need
underrated.
is a small forward. That's it. And this team.
They got Tim
will be
Hardaway
scary.
Jr., who is solid. They got Josh Green.
I love my Michigan men.
He's a shot chucker, but he's solid.
Yeah.
Josh
think
Green's really good.
Josh
too.
Green
3D.
should be a permanent six-man.
Good team, man.
And I don't
Good team.
know. I think they got to either draft one or trade up for one.
The one thing they need this offseason to become a 1 seed is depth.
Oh,
I
for
think
sure.
they just need more depth on this team. It's going to be hard to pay them, but guess what, Cuban? You got money. Open up. Blank check. What do you want? All right, good bench guy. Boom. There you go. Good bench guy. Boom. There you go.
Hey,
You
Derek
can
Lively
cut
is
it.
a fantastic backup
I completely
center.
forgot about Lively. Lively's going to be back.
Yeah,
for the playoffs.
he's really good.
He was their starter until they got Gafford,
And
he was good.
he's made to be a bench guy, I really think.
He is going to be one of the best bench centers in the league
Yes,
in the coming years.
100%.
All right, anything else on the NBA playoffs,
I'll
Joe?
say
for
this.
me.
People forget the Mavs made the Western Conference Finals 2 years ago with Luka basically carrying that team.
Yep.
Like, Luka's got help now. They can really, really, really go on a deep run. I mean, sure, the West is really talented. Like, they're going to have to get past probably the Nuggets, the Clippers, good team.
Timberwolves,
So
Thunder.
it's not going to be easy for the Mavericks, but I think they're built to go deep.
Anything else?
I really think the Knicks can be a sleeper team. I mean, look
Yeah.
at what they did in the regular season. They earned the 2 seed in the West, and the West?
No, that's the East.
Yeah, it's the East. I was going to say, that doesn't sound right. But I think the Knicks can be a really sneaky team in this postseason. And
Brunson's a heck of a player.
yeah, Jalen Brunson is insane. I do agree, though, that Clippers-Mavericks might be the best series out of this
Yes.
entire bracket. I am really excited to watch that series.
I think best matchup in each region, I think it'll be Clippers-Mavericks, and I think it'll be Cavs-Magic. For the East. I really like that series.
I'm in love with this Clippers-Mavericks matchup. Ballmer's boys versus Mark's men.
Quick, who do you think will win the finals? I think the Celtics will win.
I think sadly, as much as I don't like the Celtics franchise, there's so many guys on the team I want to see win. Kristaps, I want to see him win.
Yeah.
I want to see Jaylen Brown win. I want to see Jason Tatum finally win so we can get some respect on his name. Derek White, Svi Mikhailuk, Piston legend. I want to see him get a ring. Luke Cornett, Sam Hauser. They've got some guys, man. They've got some guys, and I want to see them win. Just players' sake wise, not Celtics wise.
My heart really, because I grew up loving the Timberwolves because Ricky Rubio was the guy who got me into sports. My heart wants the Timberwolves to win. However, the Celtics are the most complete team. They got a complete coaching staff. They got a complete front office. This Celtics team is really good, and I can't bet against them as the Pistons fan that I am. The Celtics are winning the NBA Finals.
Here's just, before we head off, here's just a couple quick things I'm noticing mathematically about this bracket. The Knicks would be the 6th seed in the West. The Knicks are the 2 seed in the East.
Wild.
The Pacers would be in the play-in game as an 8 seed. They are the 6th seed in the East. In the play-in, the Heat would be out of the play-in in the East. Heat are in the second best seed in the East, and the Hawks would be 10 games out of the play-in in the West
The East sucks.
at 36 and 46.
Not good.
There's one thing from our childhood that still stands the test of time, which is the Eastern Conference is terrible.
And the Hawks
Always
are
told
the
you that.
definition of
Mid.
All right.
They're not good. They're not bad. They're just in the middle. However, folks, that's all we have for today's show. A fun show indeed on this beautiful Wednesday, hump day, as they used to consider it on a Geico commercial. I'm pretty sure that was.
Hump day.
Hump day. That's all we have for today's show. Card Guys, Season 2, Episode 25. Back on 101.1 The Beat, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. Tune in Monday as we discuss the start of the NBA playoffs. Everything starts on Saturday. We check in with the Tigers and react to the new Lions uniforms being released.
I'm so
tomorrow.
excited. There's
Yeah,
a
rumor
gonna
has
be
it there's a
awesome.
black uniform and the old logo's coming back.
Oh my gosh,
Oh, man.
that would be electric.
Cinema.
I want a black uniform so bad,
It
and
would
I'm
be
buying
great.
a Hutch one
Amon-Ra
or a
for me,
DPJ
or
one
Hutch.
because I love my Michigan men.
Who knows? But for my good buddies, Ryan Donnelly, Michael Rosenkranz, and Isaac Haffenden, I'm Anthony Schulte saying so long, everybody.
Love you, Mom and Dad. Hope you have fun in Florida.